Our headlines for you today. After months of speculation over possible tax rises, the Chancellor will finally unveil her budget later, saying she'll make fair and necessary choices to cut the cost of living.
A huge day for Rachel Reeves, a huge day for Sir Keir Starmer, a huge day for this government.
Good morning. I'm in Bradford with a live audience to find out what they're hoping to hear from the Chancellor later on. This is the UK's City of Culture this year, but many challenges here remain.
Also this morning, Donald Trump is sending his top diplomat to Moscow to discuss a Ukraine peace plan with President Putin.
Trial by jury could be scrapped, except in the most serious cases, under plans being considered by the Justice Secretary.
Let's have a look at the papers this budget day, shall we? And the policies and predictions dominate the front pages, all the papers, as the Chancellor prepares to give that statement at lunchtime. The Daily Mirror there leading on the rises to the national minimum wage that emerged last night. The paper saying that the increase will put more money in millions of low-paid workers' pockets.
Smorgasbord budget could cost families £1,600, says The Times.
You love that word.
We love that. I think Henry coined that on Monday morning with us, and it's in quite a few of the papers this morning. Times predicting more than a dozen tax rises set to be announced today. That's according to them.
Rachel Reeves promises to tackle Britain's cost of living crisis, says The Guardian, the paper describing today's budget as a decisive moment for the fate of this government.
And The Telegraph predict that it will be middle-class families who will be hit by what it calls a dirty dozen tax rises today. Here, a jury has been told to ignore the public attention surrounding the case of a man accused of injuring spectators at a Liverpool FC Premier League victory parade. 54-year-old Paul Doyle was behind the wheel of his car, which struck a crowd in the city centre in May. He denies the 31 charges against him. A 39-year-old man has been arrested as part of an investigation into a mountain of waste dumped in an Oxfordshire field over the summer. It's thought the incident near the village of Kidlington, which led to the Environment Agency declaring a critical incident, could be the biggest fly tipping case ever seen in the UK. Epping Council is to launch an appeal after the High Court rejected its case to close a hotel housing asylum seekers. Protests have been taking place outside the Bell Hotel following the arrest of a male resident who was later jailed for sexual offences, then deported. The council said the legal action would be funded by their financial reserves. A couple who used to dance at the Blackpool Tower Ballroom have had their wish granted to revisit the venue for one final waltz. Ron and Marilyn, who've been married for more than 60 years, returned to the famous dance floor after their granddaughter asked for help on social media to let them dance together again in Blackpool before her granddad's dementia gets worse.
How was it for you, darling?
Same as you, darling. It's been absolutely brilliant. And every time I come, it just fills me up. It's just gorgeous.
What a moment for Ron and Marilyn and all their family, who had an amazing day.
Yeah, and they've still got the moves, haven't they?
They've still got them. And some worrying wildlife news for you, because the number of puffins on the Farne Islands off the coast of Northumberland has dropped by almost a quarter in the last year.
Yes, the number of breeding pairs recorded on the islands last year fell from about 50,000 to 38,500. Now, the National Trust says it's too early to be alarmed, with survey conditions, environmental factors and, tellingly, puffin behaviour all influencing the outcome.
We were trying to work out how you count thousands and thousands of puffins when they all look identical.
They look a little bit sad as well, John.
They do.
They look a bit...
Despite all that colour.
Yeah, exactly. Living in that beautiful part of the world.
Today at 1, shock in Westminster as details of the Chancellor's budget are leaked ahead of it being delivered. Well, the freezing of tax thresholds, a cap on salary sacrifices for pensions and the lifting of the 2-child benefit cap were all confirmed before she'd even had chance to speak.
This is deeply disappointing and a serious error on their part. The Office for Budget Responsibility have already made a statement taking full responsibility for their breach.
Well, the leaks triggered an early positive reaction from financial markets. In total, the measures amount to a predicted £26 billion of tax rises by the end of the decade.
Tonight at 6, millions of people will pay more tax by 2030 as the Chancellor unveils her budget. Rachel Reeves promises to cut the cost of living, particularly for the poorest, as she puts up taxes by £26 billion. She brings in measures that affect the two-child benefit cap, electric vehicles, pensions and expensive houses.
My choices are a budget for fair taxes, strong public services and a stable economy. That is the Labour choice.
That smorgasbord of misery we just heard from her can be summed up in one sentence. Labour are hiking taxes to pay for welfare.
The Chancellor sees this as a proudly, defiantly Labour budget, but there was one heck of a twist today, and it wasn't her fault. The whole thing ended up on the internet before she had said a word.
I'll be taking you through the winners and losers and asking if it all adds up.
I'm here in West Yorkshire to find out why all of this matters to our household budgets.
And on BBC London, what the Chancellor's budget could mean for London and the pound in your pocket.